If you're shying away from implementation work, assuming that, oh, AI is going to take care of that, you will be beaten. Siri has been here since 2011 and it still gets things wrong, terribly wrong. So you might be seeing all the compounded learnings and the compounded posts of everything that AI is producing. And sometimes you think, I have nothing intellectually new to add to this subject. You might be thinking that. Or you might be thinking that, hey, we're going to lose X% of our business to the new technology because now it's democratized and more people can get access to things that we were selling people as a service, at a high-end service. That's a real thing that's happening right now. Another thing that you might be looking at is opportunistic, is saying, hey, we can execute these things, or we can be 10x more productive, or 10x in cost savings, which is not an exaggeration. And we can go ahead and take advantage of these new opportunities that we didn't have before. Now, technology, if we look at that area of opportunity, artificial intelligence, the way you practically apply this in your business, it can only help you increase your margins if you do it right. It can increase your gross revenue, your profit margin, and your ability to reach more people. Now, the core lesson here that I want to dive into is that it's a philosophical take that information is useless without the action that we take. If we take action incorrectly, that's novice work that we're learning. But if we take the right action, it's done correctly, we get a specific outcome, that's applied wisdom. Now, with that specifically, we assume that there's going to be a future of robotics and artificial intelligence where it's going to take over the thinking and the action of the outcome, and it's going to take care of everything for us. Now, a few things are real. One, that's not here yet. Number two, we still need humans to do that. Number three, the way that we imagine that future is not going to be how it's actually going to play out in reality. So just keep that in mind. So instead of being a futurist or existentialist thinking about what should we do now, here's some practical approaches based on my experience within the info product and the services space, where we can leverage this technology so that you can craft one, better offers, and two, go to market more confidently with your services and being able to create new services, hopefully from the stem of thinking. So the first offer that always works, that will continue to work, is time collapsing. So collapsing time into a very simple executable action that either you do for someone or you help someone execute. That first offer is obviously going to be around information and helping people take the right actions. I've personally, like for one event, I spent like a half day up north here, spent $4,000. For another info product digitally, I spent $300. And I can tell you that sometimes the cheaper products, it might give me a short time collapse and I can implement quicker and learn things faster than if I would to learn it on my own. Because think about it, if you're going to learn and execute something, you're going to pay the price anyways. And that's something to keep in mind, that you're going to pay the price of time and of learning and of failure. And if you can time collapse that information into a short, a packed amount of time where you can get the right information from someone else's wisdom and you can apply that, then you can go ahead and execute the right things today or compound your new learnings at a new level. So why do I say this? Because right now within your organization, you might have things that you can train others to do that have very specific outcomes, very specific tangible needs that they can go ahead and apply in their business or in their life immediately to get a result. The reason why you would charge for information that way isn't because you want to be a coach, isn't because you want to have a coaching program. It's because people value information. You can create a workshop. Like I was even thinking about doing this here in UTC, where you can get people into a workshop. They pay like a small fee just to be part of that room. Then from there, you educate them based on your processes, your services. And this has happened in the past. Some people raise their hand saying, hey, can you just do this for us? Which gets to offer number two, which will never go away. It's, do you want me to do this for you? Do you want me to truly collapse time and give you the output you're looking for less time, less money, and less of a hassle? Now, you might be thinking, you're selling this right now, probably. And you might be thinking, if everyone did that, then I wouldn't have a problem with getting new customers. I wouldn't have a problem with the price points or the arguments that I'm getting into. And I've seen that, I've heard that. But the key thing here is, one, you want to focus on someone who has no time, who's busy, doesn't have the time to execute the things that you teach them. Number two, they also don't want to learn. There are some people that don't want to learn a thing and just want to get the execution, get the outcome. That's the second point. The third is that you can multiply what you charge for them easily, meaning that the value that you deliver to them is so high where the price point is low enough where whatever value to produce is already a multiple of the action that they're paying you to do. So think about that. Someone who has no time, who doesn't want to learn and execute this, and when you create the value, the multiple is so high, it's ridiculous for them not to pay you. That's where you really want to zone in. And that's part of the strategic sales enablement plan that I work with clients on. What you want to look at specifically, who values your services the most? And where can you truly time collapse? I have a friend who's a brand designer. And for him to design a logo, it might take him a couple of hours nowadays. Why? Because he's learned the craft of doing this over a series of weeks or even months. Instead of taking that long time, he can now do that in such a short amount of time and be able to charge a premium for it. Now you might be thinking, can I just do AI with it? Yeah, you can. But for some industries, some clients value that significantly more than some artificial intelligence thing, bloop, that you can just click. Same thing with you. What specific industry, what specific problem can you solve that where The actual solution of that is a multiple of the inputs that you're generating, creates relationship, and it's asymmetric relationship, meaning that the value is so high, the risk and the cost for you is low enough, and the price that you charge sustains your profitability, where the value exchange is a net positive and allows the other person to move forward to their goals faster while enabling you to take care of your team and your operations to serve more people at scale. That's the art of the craft of the offer. That's the art of business. Now, to recap here specifically, there are different games being played at different levels at any given time. Some are short lengths in time, some are longer plays. The whole idea is figuring out where do you have the leverage, where do you have the expertise, and where do you have the opportunity. And if you're thinking about that artificial intelligence is taking away things from you, start thinking about where is it specifically adding opportunity for your margins, for your profitability, for your reach of helping new people, and for your productivity, for your team to be able to execute at a higher pace or do more with the existing workflow. I think that's the most fascinating things that I've personally experienced is instead of should I hire this person, is look at what systems can I create that would eliminate the need for this new hire. It's crazy, but that's where we live in right now. I'm looking at systems and technology that can do some of the work or 90% of the work so that we don't need to hire additional staff or members. Not that I don't like hiring. It's just, it's incredible what you can do nowadays. Now, to recap specifically, the two offers that matter the most are time collapsing is the center core of both offers. The first one is showing other people how to execute to get one specific outcome. Not three, not five, not a plethora, not confusion, one specific outcome, and time collapse your expertise in a way where it's packaged that they can receive it and implement it. We all know that with info products, I think it's about either 3 to 10% completion rate of all the products where people spend $100, $200, $500, $1,000, $3,000, and they don't implement it or don't even go through the training. So your job, if you're doing that, if it's through workshops, if it's through live events, if it's through a digital course or some sort of platform, people crap on those all the time. They still will sell because if you have authority, you know how to get an outcome, you've proven to the market that you know how to get that outcome, people will buy your stuff so that they can collapse time, get the knowledge of how to execute it. And then from there, if they need support and this is part of your offering, you can offer them, hey, do you want us to do it for you? We can just take care and do a true time collapse. We can execute it for you and you don't have to because you are too busy. You don't have time. Number two, you don't even want to learn this because you're so busy with everything else. And number three, the value that you're going to get from this is so significant that the cost that we charge you to apply these services is minuscule. Think about that. When you review that, look at your offerings, look at your business model and how you're attracting the market. And then from there, craft. What can I craft in terms of the client experience from the initial touch point to the subscription service to the backend service that you have so that you can model this and leverage technology, not to be fearful, but to do more.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you'd like to get more of these podcasts, please go ahead and subscribe to wherever you're watching or listening to the pod. If you have any suggestions or questions that you want me to answer on the pod, or you have a guest that you want me to interview, please go ahead and email me all of your suggestions and questions at podcast@dogoodwork.io. That's podcast@dogoodwork.io. If you'd like to give me public feedback, you can go on Apple Podcasts, and from there, you can leave up to a 5-star review. I would greatly appreciate that. If you like more free resources where you can get my best strategies to help you increase your company's performance and scale profitably, you can get handpicked articles to propel your growth, and you can get trainings and discussions that I give freely online, as well as low-cost resources such as my books and guides. You can get all of that by going to dogoodwork.io/free-growth-resources. 90% of all of these resources are not behind any email opt-ins. You can get instant access by going to dogoodwork.io/free-growth-resources. Now, if you'd like to accelerate your progress and shorten the gap between information and action and start seeing results in your business, let's work together to increase your company's performance and scale profitably and serve more clients without the overwhelm. You can request a free clarity call to see how we can best support you to reach your goals by going to dogoodwork.io/apply. Again, that's dogoodwork.io/apply. As always, it's an honor to be a small part in your journey. This is Raul Hernandez. Do good work.